Yeah, I want to give all praises and all honor and all glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakal Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who rule well. Salutations to the Akim in the four winds, preaching the truth with sincerity, risking their lives more now than ever. The hopeful elect, the elect, Shalom. To the Israelite foreigners who phenotype may look like another nation, but bloodline goes back to Israel and have come back to the fold. To you sisters, you Akwafim, listening and learning in silence under your husband as a spiritual leader. Yeah, this your brother Ram Yahweh up with the lesson, and let's get into it.
Shalom, shalom. It's your brother Tazapanya back at it again with the current events. A lot done happened in the last 2 days. We're going to go run through it real quick, all right? Double honors into the apostle elders at Great Millstone. Let's get it. 15,000 nurses just went on strike from Wisconsin to Minnesota. Wall Street shaking as the Dow drops about 1247, almost 1,300 points due to the new CPI, the Consumer Price Index report, showing inflation increased again. Big one right here, executive order on advancing biotechnology and biomanufacturing innovation for a sustainable, safe, and secure American bioeconomy. And a buying and selling that's dealing with your course of living, your life, which is what? That MOTB, man, the mark of the beast. U.S. Army recommends soldiers suffer under Biden-inflation, apply for food stamps while Congress spends tens of millions on foreign aid. California legislator passes bill giving courts authority to take custody from parents of minors seeking genitalia change treatments. Energy prices soar 700% and threaten to push businesses to the brink of bankruptcy. Yo, this energy crisis is huge right now, man. Alright, there's a dark winter coming. So in a poll, half of Americans think Babylon the Great, alright, America will no longer be a global superpower within 10 years. Hey, this thing might not even last 2 years, man. In Delhi, India, rained over 1 million liters of water. Blunt warnings from Russia, Foreign Minister and Federation Council. Nuclear war is coming. World War III is prophesied in the scriptures, man, whether you like it or not. Germany's power grid faces collapse as millions stock up in inefficient electric heaters for the winter. There's a global energy crisis right now, man. Disney employee and school teacher among 160 arrested in Florida, as you can see right there. I don't want to get this thing taken down. And you already know what type of and what age, all right? The Pope, Xi, China, and Putin, Russia, to meet in Kazakhstan, man, all right? Switzerland will jail citizens who turn their thermostat over 66 degrees Fahrenheit in the winter. FBI charges 3 Iranians in cyber attacks targeting local governments and power companies. It seems like there's a recurring trend of this energy crisis, man. Amtrak cancels all long-distance trains as freight rail strike looms, which is coming Friday. Something about the pop, man. Yo, it is what it is. Jacob's trouble, all hell about to break loose, anarchy. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah. So this is James chapter 5 verse 4. Behold, the hire of the laborers who have reaped down your fields, which is your keep, which you keep back by fraud, right? So you got a so-called military, and you're supposed to pay them, and you're telling them to go to have basically be on food stamps, right? While prices are going up and the cost of living is harder, you're basically asking this military to fight for you, right? And to receive so-called benefits that you're saying that you're running out of, right? So it must be that's the reason why you're cracking down on things to so-called maybe take it away from the average common American so you could give it to your military, but then that's only going to last but for so long, because what? They're the one who fight your wars, that's how you reap. But when you reap what you kept it back by fraud, right? Your FRNs, right, which have no value. They're not backed up by silver or gold, right? And this so-called digital dollar, this digital all, it's not going to be backed up by gold or silver or anything either. It's all fraud, right? But it's still a way to what? To have bondage, right? Crieth, and the cries of them which have reaped are entered into the ears of Yahweh, or the Lord, Adonai of Sabaoth, which means army, right? Because the Lord, right, that's just capital L, right? It's not all caps, but that's dealing with Yahweh Shai. But the Yahweh Shai said that what? He is like his father, the Lord, all caps, of hosts, which means armies. And the Lord of Sabaoth is what? Armies, man. He's just like his father. The Lord is a man of war. And the Lord is coming to come back and bring war to you Edomites, because that's all you've ever done, right? You conquered by the sword, by your blessing, but the payout that you give people, or the so-called living that you give people, is by fraud, right? You say that you're a God-fearing country, and 1983 you declared this is a Bible country, right? And this is the law that you're supposed to keep as being a Bible so-called believer, right? These are the laws of Yahweh, right? Ye shall not steal, neither deal falsely, neither lie one to another, right? And your FRNs are complete lies. And your digital your digital dollar, right, is also a lie, right? Your so-called miracles, right? Those are fraud, man. Right? Trying to make people cyborgs, right? Those false fraudulent miracles, man. Right? To say that you're God. And ye shall not swear, right? Which that's what you do in your courtrooms all the time. By my name falsely, right? And that's ultimately what you do. And God, we trust on your so-called dollar bill, but the God that you trust on is what? Gold, oil, and diamonds, right? Right? That's your God that you trust in, right? Neither shalt thus profane my name. Neither shall thus profane the name of thy power. I am Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, right? And that's what you do. You ultimately say this is a God-fearing country, and basically, which you don't really know the name of the Lord, right? Or you do, and you don't really profess it, right? Because Jehovah is not it. We know the letter J is only 4,500 years old, and we know that what? Yahweh couldn't be it either, because there's no E's in the ancient Hebrew, man, right? In the Paleo, right? And what you know that, right? So those are things that you're trying to do. Hey, man, hey. That's the things that you try to do. So thus shall not defraud thy neighbor, and that's ultimately what you do with all these interests. You're defrauding to have these people so-called fight your wars, and to just give them some type of government aid, right? That's that BS, man, right? But these are these simple jakes that want. And I mean, we ain't worried about the Edomites, but you simple jakes that are in this military, and now they're just telling you to get food stamps. You could have stayed in the world and got food stamps, right? You know, and they basically, these are so-called your fellow American citizens, so they're your neighbor. Neither rob him, and that's ultimately what you're doing to every American citizen. You're robbing them for the elite. You send so much money over to Jerusalem, right? And these people are not the people, man, and you know it, man. Right? The wages of him that is hired, right? So ultimately, you're hiring those soldiers to be in your military, right? Shall not be shall not abide with thee all night until morning, right? So you're supposed to really pay these people on a daily basis, man. Right? This is Ezekiel 29:18. Son of man, Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, right? In America is what? Spiritual Babylon, right? Causes his army to serve a great service against Tyrus, right? Which was another military, right? At that time. Every head was made bald, and every shoulder was peeled, yet had he no wages, right? And that's ultimately what spiritual Babylon is going through too. They're saying they don't have no wages for you. Now you have to get so-called food stamps, right? And then still so-called defend your country, right? Right? Which is really, this is a company, right? This is a corporation, not a country, right? This is to run big business for the elite, and they're basically finished with America, right? Yet had no wages, nor his army for Tyrus, for the service that he had served against it, right? So he's sending these men out to war and basically didn't have any wages to pay them, right? But in this story, the Lord set it up that they would take down Egypt, right? But America is spiritually Babylon and spiritual Egypt. So this time, what the Lord is not going to set you up. That time has come and passed, right? Now it's time for you to fall, right? Isaiah chapter 47, verse 1. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter, right, of Babylon, right, which is talking about America. It's not talking about actual ancient Babylon. It's talking about the daughter of Babylon, because you put all your customs, right, after Babylon, right? Because you did it when you were the Greeks. You did it when you're the first leg of Rome. And here you are as second leg of Rome. And you still hold the customs of what? Of Babylon, right? Right? Sit on the ground, right? Which means basically a low, you know what I mean? Bringing you low, right? Because if you were standing up and you got knocked down to the ground, now you're what? You're low. You're lower than where you were at, right? You're not in a good place, right? You're vulnerable, and that's ultimately what's going to be coming, man. The Lord is going to make you extremely vulnerable to what? To get ICBM missiles brought upon you. there is no throne, right? The Lord's taking your rulership, right? O daughter of Babylon, O daughter of the Chaldeans, right? The Chaldeans goes into what their witchcraft, right? Because the Babylonians, the Chaldeans were the ones who their astrologers, their prognosticators, their witchcraft, right? And that's ultimately what you do. You do a lot of witchcraft, a lot of underhanded things with fraudulent things to say what's currency and what's not currency, and say who's so-called who's a terrorist or a so-called what do you call it, a cult, right? Because you like to use these so-called buzzwords, right? When you're the actual cult, right? Your cult is the NWO, right? The New World Order. Your cult is trying to receive that blessing back, right? Trying to keep the blessing of the fatness of the earth, right? You know, the true terrorist is you. And by any means are you're trying to do what you could do, because what you're only supposed to rule a short space, right? And for thus shall no more be called tender and delicate, right? You're not that place that's not gonna ever be affected by war or destruction or famine or pestilence, right? Take the mill, grind the mill, right? Right? You're spiritual Egypt, and you're the spiritual Babylon. But you know what happened in Egypt, right? There was 7 years of plenty and 7 years of famine. So you're gonna have to what? You're gonna have to store up food. You're gonna have to be a prepper, right? That's what it says. Take the millstone and grind the mill. You have to grind that mill and put it away. Uncover the locks. Make bare the thigh, right? So now you're being exposed through the so-called hundreds and hundreds of food plants being on fire, right? These turn into the times where people used to laugh at the preppers, but now the average everyday Joe Schmo is quickly becoming preppers, which they're gonna have to, right? And now you're being exposed, right? Make bare the leg, uncover the thigh, pass over the rivers, right? Because that's where those the supply chain comes from, right? It comes from over the rivers, over the waters, right? And you're doing a controlled opposition of the supply chain, but ultimately it's gonna bite you. It's gonna be a snare unto yourself. Thy nakedness shall be seen. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered. Yea, thy shame shall be seen. Right? Right? Because that's ultimately what's happening, man. You're being uncovered for being the Edomite, the devil that you are. And you're also being exposed for all the atrocities that you've committed on the earth, man. Rape, rob, murder, the whole entire earth. But the main thing is what? You did it to the apple of the Most High's eye. The Israelite, the so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian. So now you are in trouble, right? You're in definite trouble, right? I will take vengeance. See, you're in trouble. I will take vengeance and will not meet thee as a man. And that's who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. His real name is Yahweh Shai, by the power of Yahweh, his father, man. right? With that host of angels, man, angelic beings, man. He's coming back with an angelic body, with angelic chariots, man, right? Right? Yeah, so this is Revelation chapter 12, verse 7. And there was war in heaven, right? Which you talk about the so-called what is that that you have? You have your space force. So that's that layer, the outer layer of Earth until, you know, the so-called blue sky that we see now, right? At Michael, right? Which Michael Allah, which he is like the power, Michael Allah, and his angels fought, right, against the dragon, which is talking about Rome, right? Babylon the Great, right? And the dragon fought against his angels. So you're going to come against who the world only calls Jesus Christ, and Michael, which is his second in command. You're going to fight Yahushai and his second in command, right? Because Michael is not Yahushai. Michael is just his second in command. Michael is the archangel of war, right? Right? So and prevail not, right? The Lord says he's not going to meet you as a man. He's coming in that angelic power, man. Right? And prevail not, neither was their place found anymore in heaven. See, you're going to be brought down. You're going to be taken from your seat, right? You're going to be taken from you're going to sit in the dust, right? You held back the money by fraud, right? Daniel chapter 12 verse 1. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people, right? And the Daniel's people are Israelites, and this is where people get it confused, because they figure the great prince means that's Yahushai. No, he's just a second in command, as far as on the right hand side of the army or the military of heaven, right? Of the army of the angels on the right hand side, right? Like just like Satan is the second in command on the left hand side, because guess who's first in command on the left hand side? Yahushai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. He's the top on the right hand side. He's the first on the left hand side. So Yahushai controls both evil and good. He's the leader over who the world ignorantly calls Satan or Lucifer, right? The spiritual demon Satan. Who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ controls him, but he also controls what? Michael, right? And at that time Michael shall stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble, which is Jacob's trouble, which that's what's coming, right? Because they know that they have but a short time, such as never was since there was a nation, right? Because you've never had, in the time of the Babylonians, you never had ICBM missiles. You never had drones and mechanical dogs and animals that have automatic weapons on it. You know what I mean? You've never had a time like that, right? Right? Since there was a nation, even to the same time, and that time thy people shall be delivered, right? Because that's what we're ultimately looking for. In the time of the ICBM missiles, that is definitely time for deliverance. Everyone that shall be found written in the book of life, which is dealing with the elect, right? This is Revelation chapter 8, verse 13. And I beheld, what means feast your eyes, look, pay attention, and heard a angel flying, right, which is chariots, through the midst of heaven, saying with a loud voice, woe, which means destruction, right? Death, destruction, woe, right? Which is more death and destruction, and woe. So you got three woes, which is World War I, World War II, and World War III, which is the ultimate and last war ever known to man, right? That's ever going to be on this earth. And the inhabitants of the earth, by reason of the other voices of the trumpet of the third angel, which are yet to sound, right? This is Revelation chapter 9, right? Because with you fighting Michael and the angels, right? Which is going to be with Yahushai, because Michael is not Yahushai. Michael is not who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, right? He's the second in command. What? One woe is past, and behold, there come two woes more hereafter, right? So there you go. World War I, World War II, and World War III, right? This is Revelation chapter 11, verse 14. The second woe is past, right? Which we know that's happened back in 1940s, 1947, right? When you so-called Jewish got into the land, right? That's how you got the land, right? The Balfour Declaration, World War II is past, and behold, the third woe comes quickly, in which this is going to be what? Your demise, your destruction, right? Because Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, right? The Lord is not going to meet you as a man, right? He's coming in that angelic power. And the seven angels sounded, and there were great voices in heaven, saying, the kingdoms of this world are become the kingdoms of our Lord, which is Yahushai, and well, I guess it'd be Yahweh, of our Lord Yahweh, and his Hamashiach, right, which is Yahushai, and he shall reign forever and ever, right? Because ultimately the Lord is, the Yahweh is gonna give it to Yahushai, but you always got to give praises to Yahweh first. So yeah. So this is all coming back to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai to start what he said. I started a good work, and I will not finish until it's done. So that's what the Lord is doing. He's gonna put it back to that I done, right? Paradise. Yeah, this is Isaiah chapter 13, verse 7. Behold, which means feast your eyes, look, pay attention. I will stir up the Medes, right? So pay attention to the news, man. And the Medes are being stirred up, which is this modern day Russian empire, right? By Putin, right? They're being stirred up. That USSR mentality which going back to that Cold War, has been stirred up, which shall not regard the silver as for gold, they shall not delight in it, right? They're not delighting in the gold because basically what they've been heaping up their own gold and silver, and also what the tariffs that they put on them is starting to backfire. Now France and England and all these other places need the heat that actually comes from Russia. Even a lot of the so-called militaries, a lot of bullets are made in Russia. So how can you fight a war against a place where you have to buy your bullets, right? So their bowels, right, was dealing with the ICBM missiles, shall dash their young men to pieces. They shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children, which is dealing with those ICBM missiles, man, right? And Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, which is America, right? The daughter of Babylon, right? You know, spiritually Sodom and Egypt, right? And Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldeans, with this witchcraft that America always brings, the excellency shall be when Yahweh, Bashem Yahweh Shai, overthrew your excellency shall be brought down, man, low to the ground. Come sit in the dust. As when Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai overthrew Sodom and Egypt, and that didn't happen in ancient Babylon, because ancient Babylon still is there. That's those so-called Iranians. That's how you know this is control opposition. When the Icky Vicky came out and the CV-19, even though they're supposed to be at opposition with Israel, right? They're so-called Iranian leaders, right? Which goes back to Iran is what the Persians, right? They went with it because that's why even the whole thing with Putin is a Freemason, man. Most all these elites, these presidents and prime ministers are all Masons, man. Many tongues, but one voice or something like that they go through, right? But the Lord is going to put something in the mind of the Medes, the king of the Medes' mind, that he's going to think an evil thought, man. And in that whole alliance of the Illuminati or these Freemasons is all going to be put to an end, right? The Lord is going to put down your kingdoms, man, right? Because what Iran is supposed to be against Israel, but yet we know that this is what a pandemic. So how was they following along with the whole scheme, right? You have to pay attention to what's going on. None of this makes sense, right? Even Russia's supposed to be against them, but yet they're going along with the whole scheme of the whole world is under this pandemic, man, right? But something is going to happen. Yeah, this is Ezekiel 38:3, and say thus saith Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, behold, means feast your eyes, look, pay attention. I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, which is basically dealing with the Medes. That same Medes that's supposed to come against Babylon. I will turn thee back, right? The Lord says he's going to stir up the Medes. I'm going to turn thee back and put hooks in thy jaws, right? To turn them back, to stir them up. And I will bring thee forth and all thy armies, right? To bring them back to that USSR mentality, that war mentality, right? Horses and horsemen and all them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, and all them handling swords, right? And the modern day sword is the gun, or the modern day sword is what? Them ICBM missiles, right? What? Persia, which is Iran, right? Ethiopia, Libya, with them, and all of them with shield and helmet, right? Right? Let me just skip down to the thing. Skip down to 10. And thus saith Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, it shall also come to pass that at that same time shall things come into thy mind, right? That's what I'm saying. Something's going to happen, because we know that this is all control opposition. They're all Freemasons. They're all Illuminati people, right? I thought it was weird as crazy. One year I was watching the news, and they were celebrating Christmas in Russia. I thought that was only like an American thing, right? But this thing is their whole thing, pushing that vibration of what? Of Babylon, right? Right? But the biggest place of Babylon, or following behind the Chaldeans, or the customs of ancient Babylon, is what? America. They do it the most, right? That's the reason why the Lord said they were a golden cup. That's why they were the city of beauty, right? The kingdom of beauty, right? Right? Everybody wanted to come to America at one point in time, but the Lord said He's gonna put something in his mind, and in the same time shall things come into thy mind, and thus shall think an evil thought, right? So that thought is going to allow Russia to shoot ICBM missiles. With all that, I want to give all praises and all honor and all glory unto Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahweh Shai, Ba'asham, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who rule well. Salutations to the occupant of four winds, preaching in truth and sincerity, risking their lives more now than ever. The hopeful elect, the elect. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners who phenotype may look like another nation, but bloodline goes back to Israel and have come back to the fold. Shalom to you sisters, you Akwafim, listen and learning under your husband,